Hi, Dominic. This is the latest puzzle in our back rank series. I told you white to move and checkmate the black king in 3 moves. There are a couple of things going on in this puzzle, as you might be able to see. The material is pretty close to being even. Black has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pawns. White has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pawns. And they both have light squared bishops. And white has 2 rooks to black's queen. And so in terms of material count, we say rooks are worth 5 each, and queens are worth 9. So the material is pretty close to being even. In this position, black has tried to create himself a luft. He has moved the pawn from h7 to h6. The problem is, in this position, and this is what's going to create trouble for him, the bishop on c2 is covering this long diagonal here and is therefore covering that escape square for the king. So I said white to move and checkmate in 3. So why did I say 3? Well, first of all, let's look at the move that doesn't work. Rook to d8. Rook to d8 doesn't work at all because the queen can just take it. Queen takes rook on d8, and now white's just down material, and black will probably win the game. So we know that move doesn't work because it can stop it. But that's not our only rook. That's not the only rook that can meet the file. Our a rook has an open file too. So rook to a8, and then all of a sudden it's a completely different story. The queen can come in on d8, but it doesn't matter. Rook takes check. The bishop can interpose. Rook takes, and checkmate. So in this puzzle, there are basically 3 things that I wanted you to be able to see. The first is that the bishop is covering this diagonal, and therefore black is vulnerable to the checkmate. The second thing I wanted you to see was that this rook going to d8 does not work precisely because the queen can take the rook. And finally, I wanted you to see rook a8, which leads to the checkmate. But it's not mate in 1 because, as you can see, black has 2 pieces that can interpose. First the queen, then the bishop, and then checkmate.